Hey, it's Jason with jamzDOTnet, cars, DIY, and adventures, and today is a car DIY project. I'm here with my 1991 Range Rover Classic. I absolutely love this Range Rover Classic. It is a ton of fun. I don't drive it too much in the winter, so it's up here at the garage. But I'm gonna be installing this car tablet. The car tablet is gonna give me Android Auto, smartphone functionality, and a smart screen with Google Maps and beyond built in so I can put it on the dash. You've seen me install this on other vehicles. These bad boys are fantastic for older cars. You get a dash cam, you get a smart car screen, Android Auto with Google Maps, Pandora, everything under the sun. On this Land Rover, Range Rover Classic, the 91, it's gonna take like 10 minutes to install. And I'm gonna be using the FM modulator. So stay tuned and see how I'm gonna turn this 91 Range Rover Classic into a modern day Android Auto vehicle. Let's go. Okay, so let's begin to unpackage it, and I'm gonna discuss the installation process here. So this is a 91 Land Rover Range Rover Classic. It's part of my Land Rover collection. And I don't wanna do anything too crazy. In fact, I probably won't even use the reverse camera because I don't have a huge need for it with all of these windows, and I don't want any little fidgets on the back of the license plate area, especially given how I may bang this up if I take it off-road. But in any event, this thing's only $124. The car tablet is fantastic, 124 bucks, and you get this functionality. This has an aftermarket radio installed. It does not have an aux input, but that's okay because I'm gonna be using the satellite transmitter, the FM transmitter that's built into the car tablet. I did this install on my Chevy Silverado and I love it. Less cables and it works perfectly fine, no issues at all. In fact, this car doesn't really even pick up FM radio that great to begin with. So I'm gonna have the device pretty much sitting right here. I'm gonna lift this little guy out and I'm gonna let it mount right in here. And the cables, I'm gonna run instead of going all the way around, there's a big notch right here. I'm gonna basically, you can see old Land Rover problems. You can just lift up and look at things, right? But I'm gonna run the cables around this way through this little notch up underneath here to basically run, actually under here to plug my power in. And that power cable is all you're gonna need. And then instantly, you turn your FM radio, I think it's like 89.7, and your cell phone hooks up to the Android Auto. It can be Apple CarPlay as well, of course, and you're ready to rock and roll. So let's get this unpackaged and look at it. So again, this is the guy. This is the Car Tablet Pro Max, $124. It comes with the power adapter. This is gonna go into the cigarette port. It is USB-C. It comes with the mount that you can stick down onto the dash, or you can use the included window mount. I've used both of these mounts in various installs. I've had no issues on the window mount. In our 2016 Land Rover Range Rover Sport, using the window mount, perfect. This one, I'm gonna use the physical mount here. You do get the audio cable. If you have an aux input, you can plug this in. You don't have to do an FM transmitter. I'm not gonna need this. And it comes with an awesome backup camera. I'm not gonna need this either because I've described I'm not gonna be hooking up the camera. But it's super easy, and you tap into your brake lights, so when you hit the brake lights, or hit the reverse lights, it will actually pop up on the screen regardless of what you have showing. So one of the super cool things about this, it has a built-in dash cam. And this built-in dash cam has a built-in memory card, so you don't need to provide a memory card. It's gonna come out of the box ready to go. I do believe you can add an additional memory card if you want. On the top of the device, you have the power button here. I really like the size of this one. This is like what I have in my 2007 Land Rover Range Rover, the L322. It's not too big. The power button on the top, no buttons on the side. And then over here, you have your AV-in, which is the camera. So the camera would actually plug into there, your power, USB-C, additional memory stick, and then you have the ability to do the aux cable as well. So if you're doing the aux cable for audio, it would plug in right there. As far as the camera goes, I do want to show you this camera so you get an idea of what to expect. Not too hard to hook up. You know, everybody's different. Some people can't live without them. I just don't need one in the older vehicles. I try to make them look as stock as possible on the outside. But it is a very small camera, guys. This is not big. It's very small, provides really good quality. I like that they make it where you can unplug it from the wiring, so that way if you need to replace the camera, you can without having to redo all the wiring. This is where it will plug into the back of the device. It would go right there. That would be how your camera hooks up. This will plug into the camera as I showed, like so. And then this is how you would tap into the reverse lights, so it knows you're going into reverse. It comes with a little bit of extra screws and some tape here as well. The window mount you can adjust out, so you can really get some good depth. It has really good suction when you pull that off, and then this just mounts right into the back. I will not be using the window mount for this install. I will be using the actual dash mount. It's a sticky mount, and you can also run some screws through it if you prefer, to make sure it really doesn't go anywhere. And that's really important if you're doing it on a truck or something like this. Now, when this bracket came, you saw I had it mounted like that, and I was like, that seems kind of goofy. It should really go like this with the screen. And what I realized was I had to loosen this screw up on the bottom just a little bit, use a little tiny screw to do it. And that gave me the ability to actually twist that. So you get lots of ways that you can mount it. And then I'm going to go ahead and tighten this back up just a little bit on the bottom. And then it's going to actually mount aesthetically much better than how I was dabbling with it. It's going to basically look like that. So let's take a peek and see how it looks. I just did a temporary placement in the vehicle, and you can get a sense for how this is going to look in the Range Rover Classic. It will not fit in that little holder completely. However, surprisingly enough, it seems like the screws that are in there will actually just mount right up. So I can really get a good hold on it with those screws without adding any more holes. I don't want to put it that far back. I run it right here. So I'm going to 100% loosen those screws up and see. So I'm just going to loosen these screws up that are here. Every car install is going to be different. So plan. I just happen to have these little screws that I believe, somehow or another, out of luck, it's going to mount right up to this. My initial look, it seemed like they were pretty darn close. So that one screws in perfectly. Now let's test the other one. I might want to get slightly larger screws. I'll see if I have any. I mean, this is crazy. They actually mount. It mounts right up with the screw holes that already existed. I haven't tightened this all the way in, but you can just get a sense that's going to be a clean install. Very pleasantly surprised about that. So again, every install is going to be a little bit different, so take your time, plan it in advance, plan the length of cables you need. This is a brilliant install on the Range Rover Classic. So again, I could have used the sticky pad. You could stick this on the dash. This is super sticky, like gel-like sticker. I have this on the conversion van. I have these in all my vehicles. I love them that much. In the conversion van, I'm using this and no issues. You could use the suction cup to the windshield mount. And the only other areas that you have to do is either run your camera. which you're gonna have to run it all the way from the front, go through the pillars and the trim, get it to the back, and hook it up above the license plate. I'm not doing it on this vehicle. I actually don't have many reverse cameras on my older classic vehicles. The only other things I'm gonna have to do is, if I was doing the aux cable, plug the aux in the back and then run it into the radio. I don't have an aux input. I'm gonna use the FM transmitter, which I think is a fantastic and practical use case for these old vehicles. I just gotta provide power. Let's go. Now this is why I talk about making sure you have enough cable. So I realized on the Range Rover Classic, this little gasket down here, I can just put the cable under. So theoretically, I could run it along the whole windowsill very easily. Just take a screwdriver and it pops back and hides the cable. And I could run it down here, and then I could run it up underneath and come in. However, the cable really isn't that long to go that far. So if I were to do that, I would not have enough cable. It would end right under the steering wheel there and be about 20 inches short. But like I've done in other videos, you can buy an adapter, or you could simply just buy a longer USB-C car charger cigarette light adapter. But my intent the whole time was to leverage this opening, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm just going to put it in this crevice here because you won't really see it. This has been the easiest install of all the cars yet. I got it mounted. I think it looks pretty good right there. I got the cable running through here. I tucked it right there. It's exposed, but then it's completely hidden through here. It went between the plastic. I've wrapped it right there. And then I came down. It comes out here. This is a solid piece of plastic, so it's gonna see it there, but then I tucked it up there and it's right there. So that is the install on the 91 Range Rover Classic. Now let's configure it. And then we're gonna see the first boot. I gotta press the power button, I suppose. Power button, here we go. First boot of the car tablet on the 1991 Range Rover Classic. So on first boot, I'm gonna wanna select Android Auto, and it's gonna say switch to Android Auto mode. I'm going to say yes, turn it on. And then on my cell phone, I am going to want to go to Bluetooth. And when I'm in Bluetooth, I'm gonna say pair a new device, and it should be looking for the F800 1A2365 da 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 da. So you can see here it's paired with my Pixel 9 Pro, which is fantastic. And we'll give this a second to queue up Android Auto. So after like 10 seconds, bam, it loads. Google Maps, everywhere I've been, podcast, I can go in here. Look, it's gonna start playing Spike's car radio because that's what I was listening to. I can say, no, I don't want to play that right now. So go ahead and pause that. You know what I should do? I should take the screen protector off. That way I can actually touch things easier. You notice when I was touching it, it wasn't really as responsive as I wanted. But everything is here. All of your apps that you have configured or that you will configure, everything. The background of my cell phone. And you can see right here, it has a built-in speaker. So you could leverage, like here, you could leverage the built-in speaker if you wanted to.
Turkish gentleman.
And it will play out loud. Now, I want to actually configure this to use my radio for audio. So if you saw what I did there, I was in Android Auto. Lower left, click that, say exit. That gets you back to the car tablet screen. Scroll your screen over, go to audio out, and then I'm going to say you can do speaker, which is what I demonstrated. You can do FM, or you can do auxiliary. I'm not doing auxiliary, I want to do FM, and I'm going to go ahead and make it like, you know, a low channel here. We'll make it, you know, let's go for like 87.5 87.5, which is what they recommend. Now you're gonna wanna pick a channel that doesn't have any frequency. So I said, 87.5, I can go home, audio out is still set like that. So then on my radio, I can actually go to that channel. I actually changed it to 88.1 because I was getting some music on the other one and there's nothing around this channel. So I have it tuned to 88.1. I can go back. I'm gonna go back into Android Auto and I'm gonna play Spike's car radio.
I'm like, what do I look like? Who am I? And there's this.
So now, everything
Okay, let's go. And instead of letting
is
him
playing
do the scene, I did it
through the
myself. I
speakers
drove 8 rigs.
of the
Come
car.
on, I swear to you.
So you now have Android Audio playing
because I'm a dummy. Because there's no
through
path.
all
So you're
of
right.
the car
I
speakers
get kicked
in the
the
vehicle.
stomach and I throw
And I find that this is just a fantastic piece of functionality for old cars because I've just added smart car functionality to a 1991 Land Rover Range Rover Classic. In my L322 at home, I have it as well. And then in that old conversion van over there, I have it. That's all you gotta do. That's it.
Our Slovakian producer does.
You're fine, you did.
So some other cool functionality, I'm gonna go back, I'm gonna exit Android Auto. I wanna go ahead and show you the camera. So you can see, bam, that's the webcam right there. Webcam, that's the dash cam. So I'm parked like right on top of the wall, so you're not getting the best perspective. But you can see, hello, you can see me on the camera, and that's recording to the device. And you can hook up your phone to it and download the videos to your phone, or you can just hook this up to a computer and you can download them as well. So just so much awesome functionality that you get with this. Again, it works on Apple CarPlay, Android Auto as I have it configured. Brilliant audio that I didn't have before. All of the apps under the sun that you want or that you want to download that work on Android or Apple CarPlay will show right here with absolutely no issues. And of course, Google Maps. Let's go ahead and go to Subway. So that's the install. Boy, it doesn't get much easier than that. Absolutely gonna dig this. I'm not gonna drive the Classic out on the road because we have some salt on the road from all the snow. But that's it. Determine how you want the audio to play, aux in. Maybe you want to do it like I did with the built-in FM transmitter, which is fantastic. Maybe it's such an old car like this old 48 Crosley, and you don't even have speakers in it. And if it's that old, man, you might be going to a car show and you might want some maps or navigation, use the built-in speaker. I think for anybody that has older cars or newer cars that have nav screens that you can't update, such as this L322, you can't easily put Android Auto on a screen like that. This is a 2003, that controls all the air suspension and everything. This just gives you that functionality. So this is Jason with jamzDOTnet, special call out to Car Tablet. I appreciate you guys sending me this unit to test it. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments. I'm more than happy to answer them. Have a great day and keep those classic cars and keep your vehicle collection happy with the screen specifically powering Android Auto. Have a great day.